appreciate all of your likes and comments. Thank you so much for tuning in.
All right, we're going to get this started now. Sorry about that. We were just doing the test, making sure.
Thank you for joining us, everybody.
All the audio works.
Our show started in just a couple of seconds here. Want to remind everybody, if you could just share this broadcast, we would greatly appreciate it because it would help us get more views and make the show a lot more exciting for live interaction. So please, don't forget to share the broadcast. We also appreciate all of your likes and comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and get ready for Spit the Wit. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to this show that was entirely produced and developed by the people sitting in front of you. Jessy Meadows and Frankie Almost. Brought to you in part by Rolling Hills Productions. Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Spit the Wit. Jessy, if you would be so kind, would you please tell us what today's show's about?
Okay, hi everybody. So we had a couple technical difficulties there, but we're back. It's just us today, so we're just gonna come up with stuff on the fly.
Sounds like a good plan. All right.
Now, here is your host, Frankie Almost.
Oh, yeah. You ever have one of those days where no matter what you do, no matter what you try, no matter how you fix yourself, you're just going to have an uncomfortable entrance no matter what you do? I mean, there's just no escaping it.
Yep.
That just happened to us, and we apologize for that. We've been doing this show for a long time, and there was no reason for us to have the kind of glitches that we were having, but they were stacking one on top of the other in the very beginning of the show, and as you might notice, even on the rebroadcast that we just started, there was no audio in the beginning again. Anyway, we apologize for that, and welcome to Spit the Wit. I'm your host, Frankie Almost, and as you can tell, I'm not really dressed up today because I'm in my, oh my god, we have to do the show in 10 minutes clothes, so sorry about that. And of course, we have my beautiful wife and co-host, Jessy Meadows. How are you doing today, Jess?
I'm hanging in there. I'm still battling the whole narcolepsy thing pretty hard. Fell asleep.
Go ahead.
Before the show, I was sleeping on the couch.
Yeah. Both of us, the couch here in the studio, both of us have been battling some kind of weird narcolepsy. I just saw that you shared the post again, Jen. Thank you so much. You are like our most loyal sharing person, and I think that we have to give you some kind of something, and we'll figure out what to give you in lieu of sharing our broadcast all the time. So, yeah. Oh, wow. I cannot begin to tell you, and I'm sure you've seen a human frazzled before. That's the one thing that I will say, though, about doing things live, is it really, really humanizes you. Because, or in some cases, dehumanizes you. But yeah. It definitely makes you human because there's no, hey, let's edit that, let's cut that out, perfection and all that kind of thing. So we have to be like wary of everything constantly. The audio, the video, is the camera like gonna fall over? Is the lighting halfway decent? And I highly recommend it, but if you're like a high stress level person, you might want to freaking like take some Prozac or something. Yeah. Because I foresee you getting maybe an early onset heart attack doing this kind of show. As for me, I actually kind of like being in stressful situations because that's kind of where I shine, with the exception of today. So, we didn't have a guest today. We actually knew today we weren't going to have a guest, and that sounds so much better. Something just fixed itself. So we are having Jeremy Flores. He was here in the studio earlier, but that was to help me do something. Oh my God. Do I even delve into that whole madness about the comedy thing? Okay.
That's up to you.
I think I will tell this story. Okay, so
I'm going to have a
oh my
cough
gosh,
drop.
you want to hear the most messed up story? This story seriously breaks my heart and makes me cringe. I'm like, oh, I'm getting chills from it right now. Okay, now it starts off as a sweet story. So Jeremy did this thing where he was teaching deaf kids how to do comedy, and it's like this program where they have people come out and they teach the kids how to tell comedy. And say it to their best ability, and there's teleprompters telling people what they're saying for those that are less audible. And so they tell their jokes, and they get out there, and it's supposed to like broaden their their horizon and their exposure to people and stuff. So they get up there on stage, overcome their stage fright and stuff like that. So it's a really great program. And so Jeremy was involved in that, and he hired me because I do video. And he's like, "Hey Frankie, why don't you come down and videotape this thing for these people and make them a nice little package?" And I said, "Sure." So I did so, and I didn't have any idea how much it entailed. Like, because number one, not only did I have to go down there with my partner Howie with 2 cameras and 2 tripods and take audio and shoot the thing from 2 angles, but we also had to like bring it back and edit it, which most people have to do. However, because this was for the hearing impaired, we had to do closed captioning, and oh my gosh, I had no idea what I got myself into at the price that I offered to do this. Now, mind you, so now I've not only underquoted myself, I've overextended my amount of work, and I'm doing this as a charity thing also, so I'm trying to be charitable in the process of doing this. And so as I said, this was back in like July or August of last year, and so it took me until like freaking November to do all the closed captioning because of all the dialogue. I'm sitting there like I have to make these little boxes so that the typing that's on the black boxes so that you can see the. Oh my gosh, it was such a nightmare, such a can of worms that I got myself into. And so I ended up sending the thing for Christmas for these kids, and I literally pressed send and walked out the door because I knew it was going to upload for a long time. Came back to the studio the next day, and the computer was off and everything, and it normally is because somebody else, we share it's a community computer, so I assumed that this file got sent, and it did not. And here it is. We're in March now, and these poor kids still haven't got their video, and oh my god, I feel so awful. So that's kind of what led into us not really being ready for the show today. There's a lot on my plate and a big chip on my shoulder right now about it. I feel bad. I feel awful. It's not even the money or the anything. It's the fact that these are deaf kids, and it's oh my god, dude. So I can't even begin to tell you what an ass I feel like. So one of those other aspects. So then the show must go on. Here we are, and we apologize for at least my condition. She's still beautiful and fine. What's up?
Thank you.
So
no, I'm over here sitting here. I've got a cough drop because I can't clear my throat ever.
What's
anymore.
going on with that? I
have no idea. I do not know, but I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's just really, really annoying.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sucking on sugar-free cough drops all the time.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. What topics did you want to talk about today?
Vegan donuts.
Vegan donuts. Jesus. Okay, first of all, you guys got to hear this little story. Jess wants her vegan donuts, and she is like my child. And when she starts crying, I have to figure out the way to get her donuts. But we were making a joke like just about 2 weeks ago where I ended up saying Ronald McDonut. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, that would be a hilarious name for a freaking donut place, Ronald McDonut. And then we talked about all the different ways you could probably get sued from McDonald's for having a thing called Ronald McDonut. But so she's looking for vegan donut places, and all of a sudden she pulls one up here in Vegas. Ronald. And she's like, hold on, ruin the damn punchline, woman. All right. So she freaking comes up to me and she goes, oh my god, look at all these donuts and blah, blah, blah. And I look at the title and it literally says Ronald Donuts. Not McDonuts, obviously, but it says Ronald Donuts. And I was like, are you kidding me? Did I create this in the universe with my brain?
I think so.
And so now we're going to have to go to Ronald McDonald to get some vegan donuts for my little spoiler alert punchline giver brat Tiny. All right. What's going on with you, babe?
What's going on with me?
Yeah.
Not much.
No?
Just, you know, like I said, thinking about food because I love food. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah. I'm just showing you things. You should just keep talking when I'm pointing to things. You shouldn't stop talking.
I can't multitask.
We're doing a radio show kind of thing, so silence is our worst enemy.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So if you're taking the wheel and you're going to talk, then please continue. What were you saying? You don't remember?
I don't remember.
All right, this is cool. This is kind of like doing a show with freaking not Nemo, but what's the other kid's name?
Dory?
Yeah. I'm doing a radio show with Finding Dory.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, I mean, everybody gets camera shy, though. Everybody gets where they're like, I had all of this stuff that I wanted to say, and then you get in front of the camera and you're like...
Right. But if you guys saw the cameras, it's not like that we have these huge cameras in our face that are like freaking Beta SP cameras, $750,000 cameras or something. They're actually $75,000, somewhere around that. But anyway, we don't have these big television. They're just little tiny webcams. They're just strategically placed in the room. And we're still, thank God to Red McLean and Amanda Nelson, we are going to be getting a new camera. We just haven't done it yet because of all the other things that I had to take care of with the video thing and the closed captioning and whatnot. Yeah, so we don't even know right now for certain that you're even seeing this podcast because every aspect of everything that we're using has frozen on us, and we can't see our video. We can't tell if it's broadcasting. We can't tell if it's not broadcasting. We literally have 3 monitors and 3 separate Facebook accounts opened to double check what's going on here, and all 3 of them are showing a little circle. So that's why we're nervous and weird.
Pete Anderson says beta, so what year are you in?
Yeah, 1992, I think.
Oh, good year.
Yeah. Those were really good cameras, Pete. Do you remember those from Creative Image Group? Those cameras were really dope, though. But, yeah. Wow. I'm like so exhausted from just getting the show up and running that I'm about to keel over. Plus, I'm out of shape right now and everything because I've been eating for this freaking roll. Which I cannot wait. I know I've already mentioned this before, haven't I? Yeah. But I'm like, oh my God, we have to shoot this first scene so I can freaking start to lose weight. Which brings me to this, I guess. Once I do film that scene, we're going to come on here, and then like for the next month and a half, we're going to track my diet live on camera and watch how much weight I lose. Because I do this diet that like freaking seriously makes weight like fall off of you.
Yeah.
And so that's why it doesn't ever scare me to get heavy, because I can just lose it in a month and a half. So we're going to be doing that, and then I guess we'll probably like try to get one of those scales, like an actual doctor's scale, you know, with the sliders.
Yep.
And then we'll take my weight every day. I mean, not every single day, but every episode. Come and like weigh me in, and then we'll start knocking out the comedy punches.
That way everybody can. Pete says, about the year we met, and he said, yes, you are road astronauts. Gee, first time I see it live.
The first time he sees it live, and it's the total. Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Pete Anderson is like this really techie freaking director that I've known since like 92. Maybe even earlier. I think we met. You know what, Pete? I think we met the day O.J. Simpson did the White Bronco thing. Wow. I think it was 94. When we were doing some gig up in San Francisco, and it was for Minnesota Fats Pool Legend. We did all the video and VTR and all that stuff for Minnesota. Anyway, so Pete's like this really high tech person. Like he was the first dude that I knew. He was going to college for all this kind of stuff, and he freaking he was the first one I know to like be doing a film and digital technology when they were still doing DAT tapes, like digital. Well, not DAT tapes because that's digital audio tape, but when they were doing the small little, I can't remember what the hell they're, mini DVs, that's what they were. So he was shooting movies and stuff on that, and I was fortunate enough to do the soundtrack to a couple of them, or miscellaneous music here and there, and then star in little tiny roles in them, which was really fun. It was my first introduction to it wasn't my first introduction to film, because I actually was on the set of Lethal Weapon 2 with Mel Gibson and Patsy Kensit, via Marvin Lewis, who was a really, really good audio guy that did The Color Purple and stuff like that. He was a friend of the family, invited us onto the set, and blah, blah, blah. So the rest is history. So, but yeah, so it's funny that Pete's watching me completely mess up on the show, because he's probably like, oh my God, dude, I so would have fixed this in 3 seconds. Because he's not only the camera guru, but he's a really big computer guru too. Because him and I actually used to put together IMAX, literally freaking from, man. So, but he's the guy. So Pete, when you want to come fix this, come down from Washington, which is the last place that I knew that you were living in, and come fix my show, please, please. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay, except I'm still battling this whole. I'm really tired. I'm falling asleep. Where I'm sitting kind of thing.
Right.
But I mean, just for lack of topics, DMT's pretty cool.
What a strange statement to say. So, all my life, I've never done any drugs, with the exception of occasional marijuana, as Fatbeard confirmed when he was here on the show, who is my really, really heavily pot-smoking friend. And then you come out with the saying of DMT, which I know is DMT's in everything, so it's not just a drug, but there are drugs that are based... I don't know anything about drugs, but some kind of thing that we were watching was the DMT, the spirit molecule thing. We started to watch, and then she was like, I don't want to watch this no more. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, because I did Salvia and saw the multiverse, and it kind of screwed my head up ever since. So I get a little weird when people start talking about their hallucinogenic trips and geometric patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It freaks me out.
I'm not so much anti-drug. I never liked the crap that came along with the drugs. People, it's always people that ruin everything. You know that, right? People ruin music. People ruin, I mean,
everything.
Everything. You can't even have a sweet transvestite movie, Rocky Horror Picture Show, without a bunch of fans totally. Not that they're ruining it, but just fanatical. So my whole thing with my drug experience was always vicariously through those around me, because all my sisters were older than me, and pardon me for saying, but almost every girl that I know has done some kind of drug. And I know 3 or 4 guys, including myself, that have never. Well, I know guys that have never even taken a drag off a cigarette, and me, I've smoked weed. You can count it on 2 hands, and. Other than that, I've done nothing except drink. But almost every girl I know is like, oh yeah, I tripped balls on acid Thursday. Girls are bad, dude. So I had 5 sisters, so I was always dealing with them and their junky friends and shit like that. And they were stealing crap and just really white trash shit. So I don't know. Drugs have always been a bad topic for me. I know some really cool druggies that would never fucking do a thing to anybody ever. Mm-hmm. But that's not what I grew up with. I grew up with conniving, bad druggies. They were horrible. Typical. Yeah.
George Anthony Carrillo said, hey, what's up? And he also said salvia made him see wolves.
Wolves? What kind of wolves, dude? For those of you that don't know, there's a delay. But you can type in an answer, and when we do finally see it, we'll bring it up. But I'm curious what kind of wolves you saw. Because from what I heard, most people that have ever done salvia have experienced some kind of... there's parallels to it. People experience roughly the same thing. There's always some kind of multiverse thing, some kind of we're intertwined with every fabric of the universe, and then there's always a voice calming them down or talking them through it.
That's next to you.
Yeah.
And you feel like you don't exist, but you exist in everything. And it's, oh God, it's so intense.
And the thing that creeps me out is that this freaking salvia thing, which sounds scary as shit to me because I've never done anything.
He said gray wolves, by the way.
Interesting.
And then he said his little brother and his friend saw the same trip. And I'm like, I've never heard of a drug where people actually even to people that like aren't tripping at the same time or don't know each other, like they'll have the same experience. And I totally did. I saw the multiverse, and I didn't know anything about the multiverse at the time.
So I guess as a really retarded square dude, what does the multiverse look like, bruh?
It looks like the closest thing I could think of, because there's nothing to actually describe it. But it's somewhere. It's kind of like a honeycomb, kind of like the end of Coraline.
Okay.
It's like geometric, and it's so massive and so vast that you get a panic attack just thinking about it. Because
I'm getting a panic attack thinking about it right now.
And you feel like you don't exist, and you've got this something that's next to you telling you to stay calm and to breathe, and that's with you. And it's very white, very, 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 very overwhelming, terrifyingly overwhelming. And then when I kept feeling like I didn't exist, and this voice or presence or whatever next to me said, "You exist in all of them." And this was like a Googleplex of honeycomb little things, and every single one of them was a reality for me. And this was in 2009. I didn't know anything about anything, and it was because of this experience. And when I came back into my body, kind of thing, I was gasping for air, and I'd only been gone for about 30 seconds, but it felt like years. It felt like decades.
That's creepy. So what I was saying before you were talking about the gray wolves. And the rest of that was that I'm a square dude. I am pretty clean. I don't even smoke cigarettes. I don't do anything. I have not drank alcohol since July.
Well, Salvia is actually legal. Did you know
That's
that?
what I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
I cannot believe this thing is legal. Like, from what I hear, you can just go to any random smoke shop and get it. But so's like the bath salts and the freaking spice crap, dude. And that's like turning people into freaky zombies and shit, right? So,
I don't think spice, flocka, or bath salts are legal at all.
Yeah, I'm the wrong guy to actually spit this information.
Yeah,
so.
those are actually, if you go to the hospital and you have any of the ingredients of spice, flocka, or bath salts found in your system, you will be arrested. You cannot even have any of those ingredients in your body.
As if you're not going to be tripping balls enough. Now you're getting thrown in handcuffs by a guy.
Yeah, they don't mess around with those. But salvia is some sort of plant that's found like under a cactus or something. It's like some kind of root. And you can go into any head shop and just buy it. There's different levels. There's like 1 through 7 or something. And oh my God.
I've heard of people say something like X. It's like there's 100X, 300X.
Yeah, there's
stuff like that. So
the one I did was the medium one. Okay.
I saw a guy, dude, that was like the most straight-laced, like, I will go to college and I will, blah, 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 and do everything by the book and this and that. And for whatever reason, he decided he was going to try salvia. I guess because it was legal, it gave him the notion that it was okay to do. And it was at a party, and he was on a balcony, and I saw this guy that I completely looked up to. I'm not going to mention his name just in case he's still my friend on Facebook. But he went from me idolizing him, even though he was much younger than me, because he was doing all the right steps in life, and I always did the opposite of the right steps in life. And now he's on the back porch, and I'm sitting there, drinking beer out of a keg and stuff like that, and talking to girls and all that stuff. And I look up, and he's on a balcony going, "Oh my God!" like just freaking out. But he wasn't having a bad trip or anything. He was laughing about it.
Yeah.
But it's still like my whole freaking view of him was just like, womp, womp.
Yeah.
And like I said, I feel bad about that because I do have friends that do drugs and stuff, and I don't want them to think that I look down on them. It's just that my upbringing with the druggies that I was brought up with, man, just made me just never ever want to be part of that scene at all.
Yep.
I was very fortunate enough to experience bad people.
And I still don't know how salvia is legal, but marijuana isn't, because if you Google,
well, it is now technically.
Yeah, if you
in Nevada.
Go on YouTube and you look at people tripping on salvia, they're jumping off balconies, they're running out into the street.
Right.
It's pretty dangerous. So
yeah.
But yeah, what got me started on this was the fact that there's a DMT documentary on Netflix.
Yeah, it was called The Spirit Molecule.
And
yeah, DMT.
One of my favorite musical bands is Spangle, and it's headed by Simon Posford, and basically the guy has dedicated like entire albums to DMT.
Yeah. So what I understand that DMT is like dethamitriptyline or some kind of weird thing like that. But it's basically based off of a chemical or hormone that we have in our body already.
Yeah.
Right? There's a DMT release in your brain when you die, and that's why people say that you see shit and believe you're going to a heaven or a hell because some DMT release. This is like overwhelming amount because your brain obviously knows your body's dying. So in order to soothe that, it releases this immense amount of DMT to just make it like, it's okay, bro, you're going now, kind of thing. So how do you actually get DMT? And are you talking about the whole thing from when he drops it on his tongue, Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing?
Probably.
Was that DMT that he
Probably.
was doing?
They did pretty much everything.
How do you get DMT? Like, what is it?
I
don't mean like how do you obtain it off the streets or where do you buy it? I mean, how do they scientifically extract this DMT? That would be something that I would want to know.
I think it's lab created.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a street drug. People go and get like acid and all that kind of stuff. But people that do it, that like it, swear by it. It's supposed to be this euphoric out of body experience.
George Anthony Carrillo says that you get it from harvesting plants. Yeah, because there's what is it that's in plants that's in every living organism that's equivalent to DMT, or it's something that attaches itself to the receptors. It's not DMT. There's another thing. I'm not a science guy. I mean, I'm a backyard science like theorist. I'm not somebody that actually knows all the chemical compounds and stuff that I'm talking about, but I really do come up with good theories based on what knowledge I do know. Like, I'm always the guy that like turns stuff inside out, and even though somebody's like, oh yeah, seventh this to the eighth power and blah blah blah, I'm like, well, what if this was like backwards over here and this, that, and the other thing? And they'd be like, well, I never thought of that. And that's why people find me intelligent in a different manner than scholastically or educated. Like,
yeah, it's the uneducated scientist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, the whole thing about it with education too is that, there were geniuses and intelligent people before there were schools. It's like everybody always fancies like the Mozarts and stuff like that who have taken music lessons since they were a kid and just make fun out of it, but like, I don't think anybody ever realizes that one day there was a guy sitting on his couch or whatever that they sat in those days and said, I'm going to build this thing called a piano. I trip more on that guy than I do the Mozart that knows how to play it and compose. I trip on the guy that just sat on his couch one day and said, you know what, if I took this box and took these strings and these little pads and hit these... Oh my God, that guy's the freaking genius. Yeah. So. And
then George said, he said he's 30 now, and then he said watch Joe Rogan's podcast on his trips on DMT. I like Joe Rogan, so that's...
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting. Sam Harris is a neuroscientist, also does it. And there's YouTube videos on how to make it.
Interesting. Yeah, this is nothing that I would ever delve into because, like I said, I'm a total square. I don't even smoke cigarettes or anything, so drugs are not my forte at all. I used to like drinking. That was the only drug that I ever really did. Well, I smoke cigarettes too, so I guess most people consider nicotine a drug. So, and I do the caffeine, man. Whoa, do I do the caffeine?
I need caffeine at this point.
Yeah, me too.
Me too. Nothing is happening without caffeine.
I don't know. It's funny, all the crap that I've been going through this week, and like I said, the show must go on, and that's why I'm here in basically what looks like moving attire, like we've been moving furniture all day. I'm like, the show must go on. We've got to be there. And she's like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And she's like, do you think they'd mind if we didn't do it? And I was like, no, there is no, we're not, we're going on, damn it. I don't care if freaking my eye falls out. We're going on. So that's dedication, bro.
You're so cute.
Yeah. So that's what they tell me. But yeah, so drugs are bad, okay? What do you mean?
Well, don't teach your kids that.
You're trying to make it sound like you want to do some right now, you crazy weirdo.
Well, no, because I mean, some people have experiences with, like DMT, and they really like it. And if you teach your kids just drugs are bad, they go out and
yeah, I agree with that. I don't think anything's technically bad, but oh my God, can I just express to you the crazy weird tweaker people that I grew up having to deal with? Like people that would just like dude, looking out their window, right? Okay, this kind of thing. You've seen this before, right? I'm sure everybody that has ever been around drug situation realizes this. Okay, there's this guy. Like, I'm a little kid, you know. I'm like freaking, you know, yay high, like 4'2", and I'm freaking standing there. So I assume I'm around 11 or something. And this dude, man, and he keeps, I'm in his house, you know, like, oh, fucking, you know, just hanging out, you know, hey, why am I here? I don't know. Somebody brought me here. So anyway, this guy's looking out the window constantly, and like asking weird questions like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then he's offering like bumps to me, and I'm like 11, dude. And I'm like, no, I don't do that. And then he looks out the window again, and then he comes back at me, and he's like, hey, you want to do something? And I'm like, no, I just told you 3 seconds ago. And I was just like, what the frick, man? Why would I want to do this and be like that? To top it off, we were on the 3rd floor. What the hell was he looking out the window for? Is there like some kind of alien levitating outside the window that's coming to get you?
Yep. I mean, I had friends that thought that in the half hour that we had gone to the store, like in that half hour time period frame, that the government had come in, cut out their wall, put a spaceship in their wall, then spackled the wall back up and painted it the exact same color.
And painted it the exact same color with the UFO in there?
Yes.
Nice. So was the UFO like running and on?
I'm not exactly sure what they thought the UFO was doing, but
like it's in the background, just humming in the wall.
Yeah, you don't even ask at that point. You're just sort of sitting there so stunned, you know.
You know, I used to like play devil's advocate to the weird tweaker people that were my sister's friends and shit, and I'd be like, just randomly, because I was a conniving little I guess conniving is the best word. I used to have this devious little mind, and so like at like 12, 13 years old, once I started growing up and realizing how weird these tweaker people were, I would feed into that by or play devil's advocate by being like, hey, let me just think of a name off the top of my head because I don't want anybody to get mad. Hey, Dave. And be like, yeah. I'd be like, dude, I saw the guy you were talking about.
Just messing with him.
And he's all, what, man? And like talking, you know. He's like, what, man? And this is somebody that could have clobbered me, you know. I mean, he was freaking recluse. But I wanted to mess with him because I just found it so fascinating and hilarious. So I'm like, yeah, you know the guy with the black Trans Am? I saw a black Trans Am passing out in front of her house like 3 or 4 times. It's like, what, bro? Don't mess with me, man.
It's hard to not mess with them because
it seriously is, because I mean, say that to me, come to my house and be like, dude, the guy with the black Trans Am, and I'd be like, okay, number one, they don't make Trans Ams anymore. Right. So just leave my house, okay? But yeah,
I mean, they actually will. There are people that think that NASA has launched a satellite into space specifically to spy on them and look through their windows.
Right.
And
I'm like, I always thought, like, wow, isn't that very auspicious of you to believe that the government is going
it's like,
multi-billion dollars just to track your little crack-headed ass?
Yeah, I used to think that. I'm like, what on earth? Like, who do you think you are? What do you think you're doing that everybody is so interested in? Like,
oh my God. When I was in the streets buying crack, I found out information that would bring the Rothschilds down.
I'm like,
no, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think you did.
Promise you.
But the FBI is after you. I know. I understand. Yeah. Wow, this became like the drug show, and it was not even intended at all.
It just kind of made itself, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of how I like to do things. Go with people that are creators tend to do things in their own way, and there are people that do drugs to create, and God bless them, because a lot of great things have come from drugs. You know, so yeah, you're right. You can't say drugs are bad, because a lot of great things have come from drugs. But you have those people that do drugs and, you know, make a thing out of it, and they're like, I'm going to do drugs and go write a theory, or I'm going to go write a book, or whatever.
And they come up with
some outlandish shit,
stuff,
right? Yeah. And then there's other people that, I'm sure there's a million different types of ways that people create, but I'm just speaking on the few that I know. And then there's other people that sit down and go, I am going to write a song today, and they literally take time out of the day to sit down, and they're going to be like, from 2 to 7, I'm going to write the lyrics, and then tomorrow at 4 p.m. I'm going to write the drum beats.
Yep.
and blah blah blah. Me, I'm totally like I'm the worst of anybody I know because, as you know, I will wake up in the middle of the night at 3:00 in the morning, and she's like awake playing her bubble game or something, and I'll wake up and naturally, because she's my wife, she wants to be like, "Hi, baby, good morning, baby," but sometimes I'll wake up and I'll go, "Shh, don't say a word," and I'll go to my computer because I just dreamt some kind of stupid thing, and start creating, and then I'm like, 40 minutes later, after I have the rough idea down, I stop and put my stuff aside, and I look at her and I go, "Okay, you may speak now." Gee, thanks. All I wanted to say was good morning. But yeah, so I'm the type of person that that's why we do the show like completely on the fly. We did do a few shows where we had it structured out where we wanted to talk about, and like little bullet notes about, topic, bullet points that were related to the topics, and we would like revert to them, and it was so stiff and weird.
It was so stiff and
that I never wanted to do it again.
And, yeah,
I think honestly for us the best structure is to write down just some topics, which we didn't do today. Today we just went, we have to go on at 6. Let's do it. But to write down a few topics, say 6 topics.
Yeah.
Because you and I can go off on a topic a pretty long time. I mean, look, you just said DMT like 25 minutes ago, and we've been talking about nothing but, crazy stuff. So that's like how we work the best. So that's why we like the whole interaction of the room, because like seriously, it's kind of like, whose line is it anyway of talk shows? Just throw out a conversation, and we'll bite if we know what the hell we're talking about. So what else you got?
Trader Joe's.
What about Trader Joe's? We never, ever mention Trader Joe's, and I feel so bad because I love Trader Joe's. Yeah,
Trader Joe's is awesome. Okay, and I love natural grocers. Don't get me wrong, but my second favorite is Trader Joe's.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
The problem I always had with Trader Joe's is they just seem so small. Like, they do have a lot of stuff in there, but it's so compact. And out of all the years, because it's the first health food store that I ever knew about. Like, that I ever knew about, except for some mom and pop health food place. But as far as, like, chain goes, Trader Joe's has been around for an extremely long time. And it's never expanded size-wise.
No, but that's good, though, because they haven't sold out. They haven't, become like Costco.
But, I mean, is there everything that you can think of in a Trader Joe's that you would need in daily life? Like let's say you go to some place that's huge, like Whole Foods, right? They'll have like 2 or 3 different derivatives of bok choy. You just get basic bok choy and no other different kinds.
Well, yeah, Trader Joe's has like the basics when it comes. Like, you'd still have to go to Whole Foods or Sprouts if you want like 5 different varieties of apples or something like that. But Trader Joe's is awesome for having the necessities of what you want, like potatoes, apples.
It's nice and cheap too.
Ready-made sandwiches. Their cold brew coffee in a can is awesome.
I think they have a really extensive, more than any other store really, of canned goods.
Yes, and their canned goods are really good.
They've always cheap.
Had organic vegan chili that's super cheap. They've got all kinds of organic vegan options. And they actually have, I think the way you say it is Miyoko's Kitchen Creamery.
Yeah.
That makes vegan butter and vegan cheese that you would not believe is vegan. And they actually sell it at Trader Joe's for a little bit less than anybody else does. And I'm like, oh my God. So, yeah.
George, you didn't know we had what? Trader Joe's? I just saw your comment. My sidekick here isn't really reading the room.
Your sidekick's only about like
half
here.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, but we've had Trader Joe's here for a long time actually. Since, let's see, when did I live on that side of town? Since I know of, there's one on Sunset and Green Valley Parkway, where Weiss Deli is, which, oh my God, I have to talk about that. But anyway, there's been one there since like 2009 that I know of, a Trader Joe's. Oh my God, Weiss Deli. Oh my God. Anybody that's ever eaten a Reuben sandwich needs to go to Weiss Deli and the shopping center where Trader Joe's is on Sunset and Green Valley Parkway. This place, oh my God, a little Jewish deli, kicks ass. My only complaint is I don't think that my favorite way to have a Reuben sandwich is on the rye bread that's swirled, like half
the
dark,
marbled.
half light. Yeah. Oh my God. But anyway, other than that, they serve a freaking open-faced Reuben, and I shit you not, it's this big around.
Wow.
And it's like that high, and it's just a volcano of cheese and sauerkraut on top of it. It is the most epic thing, and I think it's like around under $10 for the sandwich, but you can eat on it for like a whole day if you're a fat guy like me.
Wow.
You would probably eat on it. You're vegan, so you wouldn't eat on
Right.
it. But in your days of eating meat, it would probably take you like 2 days to eat it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's epic. So, and they have like this matzo ball soup, and the matzo balls in there are like the size of a softball. It's crazy.
George says that he's in Orange County, and he said there are 100 of them. I think he's talking about Trader Joe's.
Yeah. George, that's funny that you're from Orange County. I have a sister that actually lives in Costa de Caza.
And I lived in Costa Mesa for a little while.
Yeah. So, George of the jungle. Watch out for that Trader Joe's. I'm trying to remember, George, are you a friend of mine did you ever live here in Vegas, George? I'm trying to remember because your name looks familiar to me. So let me know. But yeah, sister lives in Costa de Caza, which is a nice little community. Have you ever been? You've never been there, have you?
I don't think so.
It's a gated community, but it's like a gated mountainside. It's really weird how it is. You know how most gated communities, like in Vegas, are like these track homes, and they're like all the cookie cutter homes, and like you can like drive around the entire neighborhood by going down the streets, and you see the fence that fences it in. Costa de Caza is not that way. Costa de Caza is like a freaking gate, and then there's like a wilderness. It's like 200 acres of gated community.
Wow.
And there's like peaks and valleys and stuff and crevasses. Yeah. Costa de Caza is a very nice neighborhood. You guys popped up on my YouTube and been a fan ever since. Well, I appreciate that, George. How did we pop up on your YouTube? I'm curious. Because obviously those are markets that I want to tap into. Whenever people find us and find us interesting, obviously we need to tap into more of that because we're trying to make the show as successful as possible because we do eventually want to make money from it. That would be nice.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And we do creepypasta stories, too.
We do creepypasta stories. Dude, okay, so if you're into that whole creepypasta kind of thing, we made a knockoff version of creepypasta called Miss Creepy Sauce. Not because we were trying to steal, but because when we're trying to relate to people, so when people look at something a certain way, they feel more comfortable with it. That's why there's a lot of plagiarism in the world. Isn't necessarily because people are trying to steal other people's ideas. It's because they're trying to get people to have comfort in what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Because, okay, I watched this documentary and read a lot on this, and I was just talking about this today with Howie. Basically, like how birds all have different calls, right? So, like, let's say a sparrow, he makes a certain kind of call, and his brain is trained to only hear other sparrow calls. So the magpies and the other freaking birds, whatever, I'm not a bird person, but the other birds are making noise and stuff, and it's all just white noise to them. They just don't hear it. And that basically is the same thing that happens in the human mind. They want to hear things that are similar. They want to see things that are similar, because otherwise, if something's completely foreign, it typically scares people, and it scares them away. So, getting back to what I was saying, so that's why we called our station, our YouTube channel, Miss Creepy Sauce. And we only wrote 4 stories on there, and they were for experiment. And that was, her and I wrote the stories. And I was pretty impressed with us when we were done. I was like, these are pretty good. I
narrate them.
Yeah, so these are pretty good little short stories. They're little spooky little stories that, you'd have to check it out to understand. But anyway, so we wrote these a year ago, and we posted them, and we kind of like put them around on Reddit and stuff like that, and people were like, oh, this is really good. and a few subscribers came, but it wasn't enough to like keep us like riveted to the thing, and we just kind of lost sight of it. So then last night I went back to it and we listened to the stories again, and I looked at her and I was like, dude, if we could do nothing but Spit the Wit and this, I wouldn't have to write music all the time. Because music is the biggest problem. See, people are comforted when they hear people's voices like us talking and stuff like that, so they're more open to hearing another person talk. But when you're writing music, like seriously, on the first like 2 seconds of the song, if you play a chord that's just foreign to somebody, they're just instantly turn the damn thing off, and they walk the other way. Yeah. That's why a lot of pop songs have all been written in the same chords throughout the history. And I'm sure that a lot of people have seen those videos on YouTube where there's somebody playing like the same 4 chords or whatever, and throughout that thing there's a person singing like Don't Stop Believing and, you know, this, that, and the other song that's super popular throughout the history of time because they've all been written in those comfortable chords. And it's like, wow, all the millions of combinations, and we have to do the same 4 chords.
Yep. George said that he thinks one of our music videos popped up on Related or some music he was listening to, and then he said he watched the video of Jen. I think he means me though.
Okay.
I'm Jess. Going through some health issues which his wife is also suffering from, and you had a combo with him before.
Oh,
on
I
Facebook.
do remember that. I remember you. Yeah. To touch back on that topic, I don't know how much of our show that you watched. She was actually, well, I can't say diagnosed, even though we said diagnosed in the little series that we did, but she was told by 2 professionals that will remain nameless that she had carcinoma on her face. What do they call it exactly? Basal cell. Mm-hmm. Basal cell carcinoma on her face. Well, the procedure in doing in taking care of that situation is not to biopsy and then remove. It's to remove and then biopsy. So as you can see, our series stopped at like episode 9 or something like that, and it was going to be all about her ride through this whole cancer issue. And it turned out that we got the results back and it wasn't cancer. So we actually found out 2 weeks before Christmas, and it was this big, oh my gosh, heartfelt moment. And we were already taking a break on the show anyway because of the holidays, because we didn't want to, my mom's 79 years old, and we spent the holidays with her, and we didn't want to like make, you know, her holidays about our stupid show. So what we ended up doing was just calling off the show from Thanksgiving on until New Year's, and then we're going to pick it back up. But if we found out midway through our little winter break that this was not basal cell carcinoma as we were told, it was just some weird random benign growth.
I still think it was malignant because it started to change.
And not that she thinks that the doctors were lying about it being malignant.
No, I think it has to do with
switches of paradigm kind of thing.
Right, the secret kind of thing again, because it was mutating and it was changing every night,
and it was there for over a month and a half. It was there for 2 months.
Yeah, and then I started really focusing on diet and raw fruits and vegetables, which I already do anyways, but I mean I upped my intake of like raw berries and stuff like that, and apple seeds, which have B17, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. For and don't encourage people to eat things that the government doesn't want people to eat.
Right. Yeah. I had just a couple apple seeds, although, you know, be careful. I'm not saying do what I did, but
right.
The whole secret manifestation thing, it started to recede and it stopped changing every night. And I'm not kidding. It didn't go completely away, but it felt like it had lost. Like, it felt like it was this alien thing that was in my face. And then it felt like it was just losing, like it was dying. And it was a really weird feeling. I'm glad I got it removed.
Thank you, George. Thank you for your well wishes. He said that he's glad that we're okay. And you were talking about there was something going on with your wife and that she needed little treats, just to let you know that my mind is kind of a steel trap. That she also needs treats just like Jess does here in order to get like her blood taken or exams taken and stuff like that. So I don't remember, however, what is it that's wrong with your wife? And I need to say hello to Jordan because I just saw that you said hello.
Jordan said hello, and Red also joined.
Red!
What's up, Red?
Why isn't he showing up on mine? See, this thing's so screwy. Nice to see you, Red. Red was actually briefly on our show the other day, and we're going to have him back on next Tuesday or Friday, depending on when his schedule permits. So, not the Friday coming up because that's Jeremy Flores.
George said that she has issues with her pancreas,
Oh,
and they're
wow.
hoping it's not cancer.
Wow. Do you? Is there a date that you have? Is there going to be like a biopsy, or what's happening with that? So, it's weird because when you ask a question, you don't expect like this delay. Plus, people have to type, and if they're anything like me, then it takes them a while to type.
Yeah.
So you like ask a question, and then you're like, "I will answer you in 2
Oh,
minutes."
Roxanne said hi too.
Hello, Roxanne. How are you? I'm glad that most of you are late getting here because I seriously wanted to like kick everything over in this room when we were trying to start our show because we had it. Oh my God, it was
No
just.
audio.
It was just so bad trying to get the audio working and trying to get things working. And it wasn't, again, it was me because I'm frazzled because of all the crap that I have going on in my life. And that's why I look like a janitor right now. Although I do stand by the message of my shirt, which is United We Stand. And this is in no way a political thing. Like, it's not a pro-Trump shirt or a pro, what was the girl's name? Fat Walrus. Clinton. That's what her name was. It's no way in support of her or Bernie Sanders or anybody. It's just in support of America because, like, I believe that this country was once a great place.
Red says that either one works for him. And then George said he's going to start with blood tests and then a doctor referral to a specialist. So that's...
Well, keep us up to date and let us know what happens. We wish you guys the best.
we wish you luck.
Yeah, because it's hard going through stuff. Like, I don't know if you ever do this, George, but, like, I was looking at my wife last night when she was sleeping because I'm like a creepy night crawler, and she sleeps, like, she's like 11:30, I'm gone. And so she was out, and I was staring at her, and, like, without getting too sappy, I, look at her, and I just, like, she's the most closest person to me on the entire planet. And it, like, seriously, like, got me choked up, and I'm just like, if I ever lost her, I swear to God, dude, my God, God help us all.
Well, that's how I am with you, too, though. You're my family. You're my whole world.
I don't think that, like, I definitely wouldn't be the type of person that would get mad at the world and go postal on people or anything like that. But I think that I would physically, spontaneously combust and blow up. Mm-hmm. So people shouldn't be around me when or if she passes away because I'm going to freaking probably explode.
George said that he wishes he could trade places with her.
Yeah, that's, dude. Ooh. Okay, George.
George.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful, dude. And I completely relate with you.
He says that he's tearing up a little, but you know what, George? I think everything's going to be okay. I really do.
And yeah. Hey man, it's important to love, dude. Like that's the main thing I believe we were put on this planet for. And I don't want to get too hippie sounding, but I seriously am like, I believe that love is like the greatest power. I think it's bigger than anger.
And it heals.
I just don't think it's as instantaneous as anger. That's the problem. Love takes a while to conquer bad things, but it actually overcomes and more than overcomes situations. I think anger is just a cheap, like a cheap shot, like taking a cheap shot on somebody.
Yeah, it's just
but love is like a continuing thing.
Right.
Speaking of like cheap shots and stuff, and love, and putting that into perspective in my own brain, I've had plenty of people that hated my guts, and we actually were complete mortal enemies, and I just out of nowhere, like, we ended up being the best of friends. My friend Ryan West, dude. I met this kid when I was 16, and like he was one of those people where he just heard bad things about me or had a bad judgment on me, and he was like working in this donut shop. It wasn't called Ronald McDonut.
I was gonna say Ronald's Donuts.
It was a Winchell's, but he was working there, and we were both 16, and freaking he just like my friends were his friends, but he was like, I freaking hate that Frankie kid. He's like, he freaking hated me, dude. And there was no reason why. It wasn't, justified in any way. So one day after about 5 months of this, he ended up, because of our mutual friends being in a situation with me, and he freaking came over to my house and he didn't leave for like 7 years. It's like, wow. Yeah, so I definitely believe that love is like bigger than anything.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. stands the test of time. And not only does it stand the test of time, like the universe and paradoxes and paradigms and parallel universes and everything else that's para something
Paranormal.
cannot keep love from flourishing.
Yep.
Yeah. So now that we're past all the silly hippie shit, what do we want to talk about now?
Donuts.
Yeah. Oh wow, Pete Anderson. I didn't even know you were still in the room. Yeah, dude. He's on my friends list, dude. Pete, if you want, Ryan's on my friends list. He just recently got married. I don't talk to him enough, and that's probably something that I should do. But you know, we all get caught up in our lives. I mean, shit, Pete. How long did you and I not talk for? Probably 10 years. But you know, it's one of those things where you know where when you're attached to somebody, you don't need to talk to them every day. Although we probably should make more effort to do that kind of thing. I'm just so wrapped up in my love for her. It's like a selfish situation.
Well, that's why I'm like, I could just literally spend all day, every day, just with you.
Yeah.
Into you. And that's...
I'm trying to remember what movie it was. It was some movie back in the 80s. I think it was the one where the girl dresses up like a guy and goes to school trying to get some... Like, it's like just one of the boys or some dumb shit like that. And there's these two nerds in the movie, or maybe it was Better Off Dead, but there's these two nerds in the movie, and they're like communicating in some kind of silly nerd language that's pseudo computer talk, and they end up like somebody trying to separate them and take one of them away from the other one, and they're all like this at each other. And I feel like that with her. It's like really strange. We are together like probably more than it's healthy.
But I don't get that because there's nothing like unhealthy about it. There's never a time when I want to be away from
No,
her.
me either. But I mean, I still don't know how healthy that is.
I mean, maybe some people would say it's codependent or interdependent or whatever, but okay.
We're
what?
joined at the hip, and I'm just like, I don't want to be around anybody but her. So even when I like go on gigs and stuff like that, it's like she comes and visit me at my work and vice versa and stuff like that. I even got 86 from her work one time.
Yep.
For being there in the same building.
Stalking me.
Yeah, stalking my wife. Oh yeah. The nuts or donuts. Oh, Roxanne, these nuts. Got him.
Donuts.
Right.
Oh my god, I want to eat some. I want bagels though from Trader Joe's when we're done here.
Can I just tell you how disappointed I am with Krispy Kremes? They don't taste the same.
They don't even look like they taste the same. I even
tried them a second time, even though I said I wouldn't be there for another 8 years. I went and I tried them again, and they seriously... And it smells the same in the frickin' place and everything, but they don't taste the same.
It used to be epic.
Yeah.
Absolutely
so what are you saying about bagels now?
I want bagels from Trader Joe's.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm dying for like doughy, bagel-y type stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Okay. Let's see. We've got about probably 5 minutes left because we started late tonight. And for those of you that are just joining us, oh man, there's probably about 30 to 40 seconds of silence at the beginning of this when you watch it on a rebroadcast, and I apologize for that. And I wish that there was a way that Facebook would let me go in there and truncate that little bit off, because when people come to watch, obviously they have 30 seconds to be interested in what they're seeing or listening to, and not that we're that interesting anyway. But we had 30 seconds to catch him, man, and it's all silence. Sad.
Sad.
Yeah. Wow. I ran out of stuff to say, which is rare.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, let's face it, if there were no lights and cameras and we weren't being recorded, we would be talking about stuff still. But
I think I would be sleeping, actually.
I think I would be, too. Actually.
Yeah.
Watched Finding Dory last night. It was cute, but when the fish start driving cars and stuff, it's a little...
It was an octopus that drove a car. And octopuses are smart enough. No, it's octopi. Octopi are smart enough to drive a car. I think definitely.
They might be smart enough, but
I'll tell you the main problem that I have with the octopi just freaking driving a car and all the things was how long the octopi could be out of water.
Yeah, it wasn't the only unrealistic thing about it, though.
Yeah. Well, we are talking about a movie that has talking fish in it.
I mean, Finding Nemo was still more realistic than Finding Dory was. Finding Dory was a little...
So in the very beginning, for those of you that have kids or a little tiny wife that makes you watch kid movies, the very opening scene when Dory is a little freaking guppy with huge big eyeballs, oh my God, we have a fish that looks exactly like that, and it's the entire reason I bought the fish. This little beta girl, and she's white with these big, huge eyeballs sticking on the side of her head. It's seriously like, it looks like a sperm with huge, huge eyes. And her name is Ishi. Ishi the fishy.
Yeah, she was a baby, so.
She's still a baby. She's tiny. She looks exactly like the freaking Dory in the beginning, except she's white.
George says go see Logan. I want to see Logan, but I've heard it's really sad. Somebody actually posted something the other day and kind of like it was a complete spoiler. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. Well, it sounds pretty sad.
You know what'd be awesome is if we could like become movie critics. That's what I want to do when I grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get sent to these movies for free, and I'm sure they give you free popcorn and shit too.
Probably.
Yeah. So we could just sit there and like chomp on all this popcorn. Oh my God, I'm the worst to eat popcorn. I apologize to any movie theater that I've ever been in my entire life. And I'm sure that there's a couple of people that can relate to this. But I swear to God, dude, when I eat popcorn, I lose freaking control. Like I've been able to dine my whole life and sit there and have this freaking
shoving it.
$100, freaking little plate of, this big of steak with two little asparagus strips, and sit there and eat it for like an hour. And then I swear to God, take the same guy, dude, in the same suit and take me to a movie theater and hand me a tub of popcorn.
And you will eat it like it's the last meal that you were ever going to eat.
Grab freaking softball size shit for no reason.
Shove as much as you can.
So why I have to apologize to the movie theater is because I'll, after the movie, like look down at my chest, and it's like I have wearing a popcorn blanket, and it's all down in the crack of my seat and the crack of my ass, and oh my God, it's a nightmare. Dude, if I was to ever be single again, the last thing I would ever do is go on a first date, is go to a movie.
Because no, but you can't just pick up one popcorn kernel and eat it.
No, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why. It's the most annoying thing.
Yeah, you have to shove it into your face, get it down your shirt. It's got to be all over your hands. I mean, it's
like an animal.
Yeah, there's only one way to eat popcorn.
And you know the funny thing is, popcorn always smells better than it ever tastes, ever feels. You get the kernels cut in your gums, making your gums bleed, stabbing you down in the tooth. You're not right for like 3 days after eating popcorn. You're like, oh, I gotta freaking floss all up in my...
Then if somebody else is like, let's make popcorn, you're like, okay.
Yeah, and the second you smell it, you're like, let me have 7 tubs of that.
I want that. I want all of it.
Right, and a shovel. So
popcorn sounds really good to me right now, actually. I want to get... They have vegan popcorn that I actually kind of want it. I'm in the mood for vegan popcorn.
Roxanne said that if we were talking about octopi driving a car as a movie credit, then we're fired. Or at least I am. I don't know. I do have a problem with the octopus driving the car. Not that I don't think it's mentally capable of it. But here's the thing, Roxanne. Like, let's say that we're not like your stereotypical movie critics. Let's say we talk about those things, and that's what our niche is. That we talk about the things that people wonder, not just I didn't like the lighting in this scene, and they never carried across the right nuances and blah, blah, blah. What if you're just like, the motherfucking octopus couldn't drive that damn car?
It's driving a car. It's pretending to be a baby. At what point does somebody step in and go, okay.
Enough is enough. This dumb octopus ain't going to be doing all this shit without getting dunked in some water from time to time.
Yep.
Because octopus, or octopi, gee, I just want to say octopus.
Yeah, they need to be underwater for the most part.
They live in water, so I'm pretty sure it's like, you can't just take a frog and throw him into the desert and have him just be okay. But yeah, so the octopus, God, you don't know when to use when or what. There's this old comedian named Brian Regan, and he's always he's talking about like how he felt stupid in school because they're like, Brian, how do you say a plural of goose? And he'd say gooses, and they're like, no, or they would say it's geese. And then they say, what is the plural for moose? And it's mices. It's moose, mice. I don't know. I feel like that with the whole octopi thing. I'm not using it in the right context.
Well, there's octopi and octopuses, which is, they're both right. You can use either one.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I believe that it could drive a car. It's just how long of a duration and how far and how long does it get to be out of water will the octopus drive a car. And typically, when it comes to octopus, there has to be either a mating reason or a food reason why it's doing what it's doing, because most animals have to have that incentive.
People too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, that's right. You are. That's why I married you. I was like, she's so hot. All right. So we're going to get out of here, I think. Roxanne said that she's amused and entertained. Well, that's kind of why that's what we're here for. We hope we're a little more entertaining. Dude, I swear every time we do this show, I'm like, we are the most uninteresting people that should ever be doing
I know, I just think that too.
a radio show, talk show thing ever. We, but then I'll watch it and I'll be like, oh, this is actually pretty good. I'm always screaming at how I look though, because I want to be on this diet so bad and be over with this movie thing where I have to be fat. Because I'm like, that's like my biggest cringe. It's not necessarily like, well, I thought what I was saying was funny, or I used the wrong word in the wrong context here or there. I just find those qualities to be human. I don't want to be a perfectionist too much. I definitely don't want to come up here and just fumble around and not know what the hell I'm doing and be like, bang, just banging shit around.
Right.
But I don't want to be overly, like, I don't know, concise. I don't want to be that concise.
Right.
I want to stop and hunt for the right word because it's human to do that. Yeah. So anyway, humans. What?
I'm hot and hungry.
I gotta go. So I don't even know what you guys are doing. I gotta get out of here. It's like hot and horny, did you say?
Hungry, but that too.
I heard horny. Damn it. All right. Well, you guys, we love you, and we hope that you all take care of yourselves and each other. And I think I just stole somebody's closing line. It's Jerry Springer, actually. Take care of yourselves and each other. But no, seriously, take care of yourselves. We will try to do the same. And George, please let us know what ends up happening with your wife's situation. And we wish all the best of love and luck to you guys. And for the rest of you, give me $20. I'm hungry. No, we love you. And so take care and have a great day.
Stay safe. Share, like, and comment. Bye, guys.
Share, like, and comment. Is that your big thing that you say?
Yeah, that's my thing that I...
Nice.